Hi there, today I'm using the Falcon A1 Pro here behind me with the Rotary Kit to make these beautiful engraved champagne glasses. Now I'm using the 20-watt diode laser head. I'm using the free software from Creality, which is the Falcon Design Space, and I think you'll agree these make a beautiful gift or alternatively a great seller for your store. So I'm going to show you exactly how I made them step by step, so follow along. For this project, for the diode laser to see the actual glass and do the engrave effectively, you'll either need laser engraving paper and a bowl of water, or alternatively some black acrylic paint to paint onto the glass itself. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of the laser engraving paper that will fit my project on it. I'm going to place this face down, and that's basically to soak the layer off of the back of the laser engraving paper. Whilst that's happening, I'm just going to give the other glass a quick coat with the black acrylic paint. Again, it only needs to be a thin layer of black acrylic paint just where your design is going to be. It basically stops that diode laser wavelength from passing through the glass and creates an effective engrave. Once you see the laser engraving paper coming away from the backing, it's as simple as peeling that off and placing it on the glass again where the design will be. Then just use a cloth or your hand just to take any sort of wrinkles out that you can get out and push any excess water from behind the laser engraving paper. Once that's ready, you now are ready to use both of these glasses in the laser. To attach your rotary to your laser, you're going to need to remove 4 small screws from the edge of this base tray, and then you can just remove it like you would almost like an oven tray. Once that is out, you can close the door, and I'm just going to pop that tray beneath the laser like that. You can see that I've already added my extension legs to the A1 Pro. Now, if you didn't get extension legs in your Rotary Pro, you can use anything to lift your laser from the edges that is nice and secure. You can 3D print them, or you can use cans from your pantry, just so that you've got a nice stable height to your laser. Your rotary will come with one of these cables. On one end you've got a little white piece which has 2 indentations at the top, and the other end is this black piece that will go into the side of the laser itself. So I'm going to now pop this into the rotary. I'm just going to align the 2 little white pieces with that piece below and clip it in. The other end now goes into the side of the laser. From the top of the laser now, and you can see that I've put my rotary with my motor towards the left hand side. Now I'm just going to use the box that it came in just to align the actual rotary to the front of the machine itself, so that when the laser head is moving back and forth, it's moving straight with the object that's on the rotary. Now I'm at the front of the laser, so you're peeking through this front door, and I'm just going to place my glass with the laser engraving paper onto my rotary and use the wheel to tighten these 3 arms to hold the glass effectively. Now obviously, because it is a fragile glass, you don't want to tighten it too hard, but you just want it to have that nice secure grip on the glass itself. And then for the other end, I'm going to place this end on and just tighten that little screw at the base to hold the end of the glass secure as well. Now the glass is securely mounted on the Rotary Pro, and if I bring my laser head forwards, you can see that there is a shape or an angle to the glass itself. Now we want that to be flat to the laser head, so I'm going to use just some scraps of timber and post-it notes just basically to lift this, so that when I put my spirit level on here, it's as level as you can get it. I've just zoomed in even closer so that you can see as I move my laser head now that I've propped the glass, it is even as I go across, so that the focus is the same as I move across my design. Now I have actually just moved my glass ever so slightly away from the arms, so that when my laser is coming down and doing the engraving, it's not going to hit on these arms. So you just want to make sure that your laser head is clear of hitting anything. I'm now going to come in with my focusing tool. I'm going to be using the engraving thickness, which is 1 to 3 millimeters. And what I'll do is I'll actually pop it next to the laser head. So I'm going to drop that down now using the Z focus within Falcon Design Space, or you can actually use the touch screen on the laser itself. The reason I'm putting it slightly to the side is I don't want to accidentally push this metal piece down into the glass. So I'll get it next to it so I can see that it is aligned without the risk of crushing my glass using this step tool. You can see now you're looking through the orange safety glass because it has reminded me that to use the actual laser I need to have all the doors sealed, so I'm doing that. Now you can see how close it is getting already, so I'm just going to bring that down just a tad. And as you can see, it's a lot less scary if I don't have it going straight onto the focusing tool itself. So I am now ready and focused, and I'm ready now to frame my piece. That is all you need to do to set up your Rotary Pro on the A1 Pro. When you first open Falcon Design Space, you're on the home page with a whole heap of free projects that you can do on your Falcon. I'm coming up to Canvas today, selecting the rotary processing and the chuck kit. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to connect up my laser. So I'm going to press on Wi-Fi. Once it discovers my device, I'm going to click on that and it's going to say Wi-Fi connected. You can see here I have the material of champagne glass selected. Now I've added that as a custom, so you can select add custom and I'll show you the parameters that you can add in there. So I have fill engraving at 1500 speed, 40 power, 1 singular pass. I come down to the interval and I'm actually going to change my interval to 0.06. The reason is I like my engraving to be very fine, and I think with the 20 watt you have such a small spot size that you can afford to go down to 0.06 or even 0.08, so you have a really fine engrave. Now I'm going to be starting my design on the current position, so I'll show you now. I'm going to select text here on the left hand side and I'm going to write Catherine, and I'm going to select that then and choose a cute font. Now I have all the fonts that are in my computer, so I'm going to choose a nice font with a bit of script, and you can see there, if you look closely in between the letters, you can see a little white foot of the letter. That is where the script overlaps. So I'm going to come up now and press weld, and you'll see that they come off of that visual. If you engrave without welding a script font, you will see the joins in those letters. So it's best to weld anything really before you hit send on an engrave, just to ensure that you don't have any unexpected results. I'll then come back up to the text because I want a separate text box, and I'm going to write bridesmaid in capitals, do some spaces and choose a wedding date of Valentine's Day next year. For an added touch, I'm going to come up here to shape and I'm going to select a heart, and I'm going to draw that little heart there, which I can pop in the middle. Now you can see there when I touch that heart, I get a red line. So that red line shows that I am aligned to the base of the text line. If I move it up, you can see that it will then go to the top. So this just helps you really align something. So I'm going to select it in the center there. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to press on that text bar and I'm going to select weld so that I don't get any surprises with my lettering. Now for the sizing of my design, I want my whole piece to be around 70 millimeters wide. So I'm going to select on Catherine and come up and choose the width. And I'm going to select that or delete that and put in 70, and that will shrink that down. And then again with this text box, I like to do them separately just so that I can be sure that I've got it right. So I'm coming up here again and just pressing 70 on that one. I'm going to just manually shrink down my heart. So I can then just pinch and zoom in on my workspace. And I'm going to bring my heart down even smaller and pop that in the center there. Now again, you can see that really nice little line that tells me where I have it aligned to the text. Oh, it's going to be cheeky to try and get my heart. So I'm going to get my part there in the center, and then bring that text box back up. Now, if you want to be sure that everything is aligned, you can again press on the two text boxes and you can come up to align, press on that and align them vertically in the center. And there I have my design. For this design, I'm going to be engraving Catherine sideways down the glass for a modern look. So it will look like Catherine going across this way. Now, because my laser is set up with the rotary, with the motor sitting on the left-hand side here, this is already perfect. If I was, however, going to be having the design go this way, I will show you now how you will do that. You would basically select all, or you can just drag and it will select everything in that part. And then I would come up here to rotate and press -90 and it will rotate everything to the left. That is how simple it is to do that alignment and get it set for your glass perfectly. Next thing I want to show you is that with your design, you have a little green square. Now that is because when I look at my processing settings, I have start position, current position. So wherever I place my glass in the rotary and I put my laser head, it will begin from that point where the laser is already sitting. So you have some flexibility with moving this around. There's 9 little dots here and I can select the bottom left and you'll get that green square showing you where the design is going to begin from. So I can move that wherever I would like to start my laser head. And this is really great if you're centering a design, you know, to some kind of feature of the glass or something like that. So keep that one in mind also. The other thing that I do need to select is either put in the whole circumference of the cup or the diameter of the cup. In your rotary kit, you would have got a clear measuring tape, otherwise any measuring tape will do, and you're going to basically measure around the center of your glass where the design is, because this averages sort of the top and the bottom with the taper. Now, it's very hard to see there, but it is 19.3 centimeters or 193 millimeters. So I'm going to then pop that in the perimeter. So I'm going to say 193. Now you only have to put in the perimeter or the diameter and it will work out both measurements for you. So if you have calipers and you want to use them to take the diameter, you're welcome to do that too. Now the reason I take the measurement from the center is because I'm putting the glass into the rotary, not like this, but more like this, so that the laser head is moving in a straight line at the top. The measurement of the actual taper won't matter so much. It will matter if you have a very hourglass type of shape, but with these simple designs it is fine. Now that I've got my piece all ready to go, I'm going to now frame it up on the laser and press start. If I come down to frame, there's a little arrow here and I can select the power of my beam when I'm actually framing, which I usually set to 1. I can choose whether I want a single frame or whether I want it to keep framing until I say stop. And I can also change the speed of which that will happen. Now I usually like to move my distance down to sort of 2 or 3 millimeters, and then even more refined when I'm moving my Z focus up and down. So because I'm using glass, I'm not going to be using the autofocus today. I'm using that manual focusing step. So I'm using these buttons here when I'm doing my framing. Now sometimes you might have a design that you've purchased elsewhere or you've created yourself, and if you want to use that within Falcon Design Space, that's also really simple. All you need to do is come down to import. So for this one I have a bride and groom. Now I will upload this one to the Falcon Design Space so that you can use it too, and just show you how easy it is. So I'm just resizing this. So if you've purchased an SVG from Etsy or something like that and you want to use it, it's as simple again as importing that image and then selecting on your engrave, fill engraving. So for example, if I was to press a line engraving, I would only get the lines around the edge. So again, just pressing fill engraving, and that is how simple it is to import a design that you may have from somewhere else externally and pop it on your design. So I will be adding this one to the Falcon Design Space. So if you want to use it for a project, you can. glass is now engraved, so all I need to do is wash off the laser engraving paper. It's the same process if you've used paint, so I'll do that now. It comes off quite easily. I'm just going to give it a clean and a wipe and I'll show you the result. The glass is now complete, and I've also done a second one with Samantha's name. As you can see, the engrave has come out beautifully. I've just popped some black behind the glass so that you can see that engrave. The quality is just gorgeous. It's the perfect way to elevate some glasses, either for a wedding, a special birthday, or for a really special gift. So if you're looking to engrave glasses, this was the Falcon A1 Pro with the 20-watt diode laser head, and using the Falcon design space, which is free from www.craftseek.com, and you can do all your designs on there. I'm also going to upload the bride and groom that I showed you prior and just a couple of the designs so that you can get started on your glassware. So thank you for watching. I'm Heidi, I'm the Crafty Socialite. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow my adventures on my laser engravers, and until next time, I'll see you then.